That is a 6.5, pretty close to 7-inch diameter piece of wood. What we are looking at here today is the Filzer Buckster BBS-1. And I'm sure while you're looking at this, you're thinking to yourself, hey, that looks like a Trailblazer saw. That's because it is the Trailblazer saw design. This was right on Filzer's website. He tells you that he took this design from a now defunct company without mentioning who they are, but it is the Trailblazer design. Filzer has made a couple of improvements to it. The first of which that is really, really nice is this neoprene handle. This is a nice vibration reducing, really palm filling, good grip kind of stuff. I do not expect it to last forever because it is a neoprene sort of material and that will wear out eventually, but I bet a person could replace that without too much trouble. This is an 18-inch bow saw blade, although at the end of this video we're going to show you that this is proprietary-ish. We'll return to that. I'm going to show you how this thing, how it comes out of the pack, you know, how it's packaged, and how you're supposed to pack this in your backpack or in your gear when you're out. And I'll show you how it goes together here real quick. Okay, let's have a look at how this device is packed together and how to put it together once you take it out of its tube. You'll notice first of all that piece of spring steel. This is not meant to hang this on your pack. That's just a keeper that pokes through a little hole there to keep the inside tube inside the larger tube. So the first thing you do is remove that, and it is kept on there by a nice little split ring. And then when we open this up or pour its contents out, we have a slightly smaller tube which contains the other parts. Now there aren't an awful lot of parts. Okay, so once it's apart, you have your 1.5-inch diameter tube, you have your crossbar, you have the little over 1.25-inch diameter tube for the other side of the saw, you have your tension bar, and you have your saw blade. Now it seems like an awful lot of parts, you know, it seems like just kind of a fidgety sort of thing, but this is a tried and true design, so you know it's not that really easy to put together. It's no big deal at all. You leave this wing nut on your tension bar, and then there's a hole here. We feed our tension bar through that hole and out this slot on the other side. Then we take the other side of the saw, the other large brace, and we just hang that on the end of that tension bar. Now, the crossbar, this only fits one way. If you try to put it in upside down, you'll know in a hurry that it's not, you know, it's cut at an angle so that it fits just one way. See this starting to take shape? You know, this is starting to take shape right there. You can see how we're going to finish up. It's really nothing to it. So then the one side of the blade slips into a notch on each side of this handle, and then all we do is we tighten up this wing nut. Oops, I let it slip out of there. Now, I'm going to suggest you'll notice that I've left the blade protector on. I'm going to suggest that you hang on to your blade protector when you get a saw like this, because it is, you know, a little bit fiddly and a little bit fidgety, and there we go. Nice and tight. Then, once you've got this put together, once it's all put together, then go ahead and remove your blade protector so that you're ready to use this saw. This does take an 18-inch regular bow saw blade, but we're going to talk about that here toward the end of the video. He's put some plastic keepers to keep that inside those notches on the ends of these, and I do think that somebody with a little bit of ingenuity could overcome needing these plastic ends, and we'll talk about that at the end of the video. Okay, so there you see it. It's all put together. It's really not difficult at all. Nice. Okay, in the past I've shown you a number of takedown saws, buck saws, folding saws, you know, pack saws, things to take out in the woods with, yeah. Of those, you know, the takedown buck saws, the first one that comes to mind, of course, is the Bob Dustrude Quick Buck Saw. If you look up over my shoulder here, you'll see one of those YouTube cards that'll take you to a video that discusses that one in depth and compares it to some other saws. Beyond that, in a little bit smaller device like this Filzer saw is, I've shown you the Tech Sport Shapeshift folding saw and the Sven 15. I've also shown you the Sven 21 in one or two videos, but as far as the comparative size of these devices, the Filzer is really on par with the Sven 15 and then this Tech Sport. The Filzer, while being a little bit heavier, as I recall, the Sven 15 is somewhere around 13 ounces, and the Tech Sport saw is also somewhere around that. The Filzer saw is 18 ounces. It's 1.2 pounds. What I've got to say here, you know, that these are almost the same length. The Filzer is 19 inches long, all packed up, and then that is a 1.5 inch diameter tube, and then this nice cushy neoprene kind of stuff handle on it brings that out to about 1 3/4 inches, at least for this short distance here. What's it like to pack this compared to these? It isn't much different to pack it. What's it like to put this together compared to these? It's pretty much identical. You know, these have a little bit of fidget factor to them, and particularly this Tech Sport saw is a very similar design. It's really the same sort of thing, just smaller. This is so much more capable than either one of these. These both have some pretty serious limitations. The Sven saw, in its triangular shape, you know, we've talked about that in previous videos. The deeper you get into a piece of wood, the shorter your stroke becomes because of the shape of the frame. The Tech Sport saw has almost identical shape of frame as this, but the depth between the crossbar and the teeth on the blade is a lot shorter. And then this also just is nowhere near as sturdy as this. Okay, as far as carrying a small takedown buck saw, And I'm gonna not put this in quite the same class as the Bob Dustrud. My Bob Dustrud quick buck saw is a 24-inch. He makes a 21-inch and he makes a 30-inch. This is an 18-inch saw. This is smaller than anything that Bob makes. But this is real similar to the Sven 15 and to that Tech Sport for sure. And also with the amount of cutting surface puts this about in the same class as, say, a Silky Gomboid 240 as far as folding saws, or a Corona Razor Tooth 10-inch, or just a regular old 18-inch buck saw. So, you know, or bow saw for that matter. So, you know, looking at this, what I'm going to say the excellent features are is that this is very comfortable to use, and this is a very strong design. So the advantage, the Filzer saw, you know, the Buckster BBS-1, the advantage this gives you over something like the Sven saw or that Tech Sport saw is, first of all, you can cut bigger material with this than with either one of those. We've talked about this in the past, that the triangle design of the Sven saw is very limiting. The deeper you cut into a piece of wood, the shorter your stroke gets, and that does become difficult. This BBS-1, you know, this is 7 inches from the bottom of the brace to the tip of the teeth. So in theory, you should be able to cut a 14-inch diameter piece of wood. It is about 14 inches from here to here, and you have to have an inch or so for your knuckles. So he advertises that you should be able to cut a 13-inch diameter log with this. Don't do that, actually. You know, I mean, that's going to be an awful lot of work, and you're going to find out in a hurry that you have got too small of a saw for a 13-inch diameter log if you try to cut something that big with something like this. What this is actually perfectly appropriate for is maybe up to about a 9-inch log. That's as far as I would go, is 9 inches, and that's going to be a little more work than I'd like. What you saw me cut a little bit earlier, this is about a 7-inch diameter log. Made it through that really no problem. I had to take a couple of angles on it to get a nice clean cut. I wouldn't do much more than a couple inches bigger than that with this saw. What circumstances are you going to have that are going to require something bigger than 9 inches? And I don't know, you know, that's up to you. I don't know if you need to cut anything bigger than that. But this particular saw, this remake of the Trailblazer saw, I've wanted a Trailblazer for a long time. The cool factor is just through the roof. This is awesome. This is a very solid design with some improvements from Filzer. You know, that's just, I just love this. This is going to make it to my highly recommended list right here and now. First of all, because of how cool it is. Second of all, it's cool while it remains perfectly functional. Third, this is one of the strongest designs possible. This is, you've got a tension blade, tension from the top over a brace, and this is made out of some really nice heavy-duty aluminum. And you've got this really nice neoprene grip on here, vibration reducing, extra grippy adding. Excellent, excellent, just really well made, very well done device. My hat is off to Filzer for doing a remake of the Trailblazer. Again, I've wanted one for a long time, and I think that this is just a top-notch piece of gear. I do sort of wish that Filzer would also make the 21-inch. The Trailblazer came in 2 sizes. I think the big one was either 21 or 24 inches, and I don't remember. I'd actually have to get to a computer, and we're out in the woods. I'd have to look that up. But I really wanted the bigger one of these, but he isn't making that. I bet you that if he sells quite a few of these, he might consider making the bigger one. It might be a nice addition to his repertoire. Filzer, this company, they make bicycle tools. They make tools and gear and maintenance stuff for bicycles, for bicycle guys, you know. Yeah, this is a little bit outside their normal, what they usually make. So that's kind of cool, you know, that an industrial designer kind of guy like that who makes some very specific items, you know, for a specific crowd. You know, he saw some potential in this for, I suppose, mountain bikers and people who travel long distances on their bicycles. And he started making it. That's very, very cool. Okay, this has been a look at the Filzer Buckster BBS-1 takedown buck saw. For all intents and purposes, this is the Trailblazer saw. He has made some improvements to it. He is making this out of quality materials. This is excellent. I like this a lot. If you're interested in owning one of these, there is a link down in the description. He sells these on Amazon. They run about 40 bucks. I think that's a really fair price. He also sells these blades on Amazon. I'll link them too, but we talked about that. I think you might be better served picking your own blade and then, you know, digging through the little nuts and bolts and, you know, couple of washers maybe, and sorting that out yourself if you end up needing a replacement blade. Okay, I sure appreciate you coming out to my dad's farm with me again on another beautiful fall day like this. I just really appreciate your time. You folks are so kind taking the time to watch these. If this information was useful to you, if this is something you were looking for, you know, have a look down there in the bottom right of this video, right down here, and give me a thumbs up if you would, please. You know, YouTube likes to see those and it helps my channel more than you might think. If you are not currently a subscriber and this sort of content is interesting to you, look on the other side of my video there and, you know, consider clicking that subscribe button. Okay, that's it. That's all I've got to say. You know, I really hope that the rest of your day goes really, really well. Bye-bye now.